Hey, my name is DJ Dickhennessy, strip club aficionado extraordinaire, representing Portland, Oregon. And I'm here with my main man, Juan Denmark.
Dick, how you doing, brother?
Good to see you, man. How you
Cheers,
doing?
man.
Cheers indeed.
Dick Hennessy, man, you're a special person. You're an interesting person. You're a man of many different trades.
Yeah.
You're college educated.
Correct.
From the University of Oregon.
Yeah, go Ducks.
Go Ducks. Go Ducks. So, I mean, I want to ask you a first question before we get really, into who you are. What's your relationship like with your parents?
My relationship with my parents is actually really good. See my dad pretty often. He lives in Mexico now, so...
Oh, shit.
He travels a lot, so he's retired. My relationship with my mom is excellent. We're very close. And I talk to her multiple times a week.
Yeah, growing up, how were you with women? What was your? Do you have siblings? Do you have brothers, sisters, cousins?
Yeah. I have a little sister, and I have 3 nieces. I've been around women my entire life. Women have been a focal point of my entire existence, and in a lot of ways, you could kind of say that I've dedicated my career and my life to women. And attempting to empower women and celebrate women and all things women-esque.
Right. What inspired that? Was it the good relationships you had with your family, or was there an external factor? Was there a show you saw? Was there a TV show? Was there a movie that really just you saw that shit that shit just changed your whole outlook on how you were going to live?
I mean, it's hard to explain. At an early age, I just knew that I was very just attracted to women.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be around women. I felt like I was kind of awkward around women, so I wanted to get around that. I wanted to kind of figure out how I could be cool and be popular, and how get women to like me. And I didn't really understand why. We're talking way elementary school.
What was your first heartbreak? Do you remember the first time you got your heart broken?
Yeah, I think I do. That's a good question.
Tell me about that. Let's hear about that. First heartbreak. How old were you?
I believe it was 6th grade.
6th grade. That's a good time to get your heart broken.
Yeah. I had I think it was my first girlfriend ever in 6th grade, and we would just do play dates and go to the movies. I don't even think we ever kissed or anything. We was just.
It was genuine. It was organic.
Yeah, she was my girlfriend, and something happened to where she just didn't want to be my girlfriend anymore. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'll never forget. I was like, oh.
How did she break it to you? What did she just leave you? Did she say, hey, she give you a little letter or whatever? We got to talk.
No, we were so young. She just. I remember. I think I wanted to hang out with her, and then she was like, I think I just want to be friends, and we'll just hang out at school. And I was like, oh,
damn.
And I'm like, what's wrong with me? What did I do?
Right.
Kind of, but I was so young, I didn't even really know anything was going on. But any kind of rejection, I think, is going to hurt or sting.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, how did you process that? How did you process that situation, and how did you change after experiencing that situation?
I think I just focused on my hobbies, which is back then probably video game playing, sports. I played baseball.
Okay, nice.
Bowling, golf, things of that nature. And just hanging out with my friends,
What was your main sport growing up in high school?
In high school, I was on the golf team. But in middle school, elementary school,
sport.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't think that. But I was really good at golf, and but early on, it was baseball for sure, basketball, and then soccer and bowling.
Who got you into golf? How did you find that sport and then really stick to it?
That's a good question. I think it was my mom, and there was a summertime golf camp in Beaverton, and I think it was a Progress Ridge, and so it was a summer activity thing, and I excelled in it, and then I started playing, and I actually got a hole-in-one one time, and I got awards for it, and I was in the paper, and so I was like, wow, this is something that I'm really good at. And I would play with my dad. He would try to support me, but he wasn't really athletically inclined in golf, so I would be kind of waiting on him, and I was super young.
He was holding you back a little bit. So you're used to being kind of your own renegade in a sense, because golf is an individual sport, and I think what you do now is, though you have a team, you pretty much operate on your own. Like people come and go. You got caddies, you got different people who hold your equipment, but at the end of the day, you're on the yard by yourself swinging.
Yeah.
So there's a big correlation between that. Do you think golf kind of set you up to be more individualistic, like as an adult, or do you even think that was a correlation in any sense?
I think when you bring it up like that, definite correlation. So like in second grade, I was on the chess team.
Oh shit, another individual sport.
Exactly. And so I was on the chess team, and then in middle school I began kind of taking golf more seriously and realizing I was talented at it. And both things were incredibly nerdy things to do. Like it wasn't cool, it wasn't popular. No one wanted to go out and play golf or even understood about golf.
Everybody wants to play that shit now.
Well, that's the funny thing, but back then, even when I was on the golf team at Tigard High, we practiced at Tualatin Country Club, which is one of the top-rated courses, and we got to practice there for free, which is wildly expensive to have a membership there. And then we did tournaments at Pumpkin Ridge, just legendary courses, and it was all just normal. And to me, I was kind of laughed at by my peers and friends.
What are you doing?
But now, now you go on Instagram. Schoolboy Q is playing golf in Mexico.
Kevin Hart, LeBron James, everybody's picking up a golf club.
Everything. So there's kind of a correlation with that's kind of the cool thing, and I think that's what made it cool was that it wasn't, and then it got taken over, and people realized, you're out in nature. This is an individual achievement thing. It's a time for people to shine, relax, network. Golf is so multifaceted, and I kind of look at a lot of things in my life now the exact same way,
Yeah, I mean, I see like a lot of correlation, and it's interesting because like when you got into the strip club culture, what was it, like 26 years you were telling me earlier? What was that, 26?
This building, 26 years ago, was Boom Boom Room. I used to come here, and back then I would sell weed, and I was kind of like, before Uber or anything like that, I was an industry driver. I would drive bouncers, the DJ here home, get money and hang out and try to sell a couple, bags of weed here and there and hang out with my friends. So I was kind of working here, but not working here. So I would say I've been involved in this particular industry since then. So that's 26 years now.
I mean, even then, strip clubs have always been a part of American culture, but I think it really took off maybe in the last 10 years, like we're future, all the rappers, everybody started to really perpetuate the strip club in a different way.
Well, yeah, look, there was that movie with, I forgot, Jennifer Lopez was in it. It's became very mainstream, pole dancing, very mainstream. Everything is more acceptable. But before, I say about like the Bill Clinton administration, strip clubs were like a dirty place, a scary place. You don't go there, it's kind of
taboo.
You don't talk about it. Now it's much more socially acceptable. Now in Portland, we have a whole another level of that where it's like just your neighborhood bar.
Right.
And there just happens to be naked women there and good times, And so it's not, it's a lot more accepted and normal in the state, I think, than other states for sure. But across the board, it's becoming, a place where you could go get a real meal. You can go hang out with your friends.
You can play poker.
Yeah, you can.
You don't even got to look at the girls.
No,
you're trying to win.
Yeah, it's just the afterthought almost sometimes. So it's very normalized. It's very accepted. It's very. It's no longer a taboo thing, in my opinion. It might be slight, like in the Bible Belt and places like that, but still, for the most part, the general acceptance of the strip clubs. I think society is just catching up to all that.
Well, yeah. I mean, not trying to jump too far ahead, but like, as you were leaving high school, did you go to college straight out of high school?
Yeah, I did.
So what was your major in college?
So originally, so I started college. I actually graduated high school when I was 17, and
same.
Yeah, it was a weird kind of. My birthday falls November 2nd, so it's like right at that cusp, where, which it might have had something to do with me kind of developing the way I did too. Because when you're younger than everyone else that you're around, and trying to fit in, you adapt different. Yeah,
I was definitely.
It's like survival almost.
I definitely had an older soul where you kind of have to adjust and maneuver in a place where you're the little dog kind of.
Yeah.
So that. Okay, so
when I started as a business major because I really had no idea what I was even doing down there. I'd never been to Eugene in my life. I never thought about going to college. I was kind of just getting in trouble all the time, and I just really. All I was doing was just hanging out with my friends, working like a square job, and just trying to just.
What was your first job? What was your first job?
First job ever?
Yeah.
I had a bunch of little like kind of odds and ends job. But the first real job that I could say was like, I'm working here. I worked at Safeway. I was a courtesy clerk. It was brand new Safeway in King City, which is top.
You're still kind of a courtesy clerk. That's funny.
The skills that I learned, it still resonate with me today. Well, the courtesy clerk is, if you don't know, if you haven't worked at Safeway, the courtesy clerk does everything.
Yeah.
Like, you do everything. You collect carts, you bag groceries, you stock shelves. Back then, you used to have to return cans by hand. It smelled horrible.
Yeah.
You know, but everything under the sun, I had to do it. You had to know it. So you had to be kind of a Swiss Army knife of Safeway. And it paid the least, too, ironically.
Damn.
And so, like, the move, if you're a courtesy clerk, is become a checker. And then when you're a checker, you get benefits and crazy money, back then, at least. And, but so, yeah, that was my first job. And
So then you go to college.
I go to college.
Yeah.
I became a business major because it just sounded cool. I didn't really understand the ramifications of that. And then I realized, the Charles Lindquist College of Business and U of O is very coveted. It's very difficult to get accepted into. And the math requirements are just murder. And I realized a couple semesters into my freshman year that I could either become a business major and focus and do that, or I can enjoy my time in college and actually just have fun. And me being young and not really looking at the big picture, I just decided just to enjoy my life. And so I switched majors to sociology with a business minor. So I minored in business administration, majored in sociology. And sociology is the study of human behavior in groups, and that actually,
Again, everything you've
critical
done.
to what I'm at now, of course.
Yeah. So what did you learn? Is there a specific thing that you learned while you were in school for sociology that's never left your brain? You're like, oh, this is something that I can continue to keep applying every day of my life and when I'm working in this industry. Is there just like one thing you're just like, I'm never gonna forget this?
There's a lot, but the thing that shook me immediately was I'll never forget. It was a sociology 101 course, and it was taught by
It's always in the first. It's always in the 101s, bro.
big auditorium. The professor's name was Chuck Hunt. I still remember to this day. And the first day of class, he's like, Christopher Columbus was a psychopath mass murderer, and this, and indigenous people, and like, it just like, I was like, man, I never got taught this at Tigard High School, like, history books there.
You're like, whoa, everything's not as pretty as it seems on the on the outside. It looks cool, but on the inside, it's a grimy business. And that ties into everything. So like, you go through your years, you graduate college. What are you doing then? Like, are you staying in Eugene? You go back to Portland? Like, what's going on between, I don't know, I'm assuming 21, 20 to 25, 26? Where are you at?
So relatively early on, my freshman year, I lived in like the really nice dorms down there at the University Inn, but I had no money, and I was around all these rich kids. And they'd be going out to eat all the time. They'd be, having weed and doing all this, partying and having alcohol. And I had no money for anything. Like, so I was just going to school. I wasn't working. And I was just trying to acclimate myself to college. And so I wanted to smoke weed too. So I started selling weed so I could just smoke
weed. Yeah, that's smart.
And over time, it developed into an occupation to the point of where I started selling it professionally and significantly. And so, by the time I graduated at U of O, I was a full-time professional marijuana dealer. Large quantities, and I had an infinite connection. And I was making significant money to the point of where I didn't have to work a regular job anymore.
You're getting those rich college kid money. That's good shit.
Yeah, if you could build especially back then, the foundation, like, and you have people you could trust and a reliable plug, like, the sky was the limit. So, I graduated, I moved back to Portland, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep going down to Eugene.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep
That's
this
where the money's
rolling.
at. Yeah.
So that was my job. I was just would sell weed, and that right before then I started working on actually rap music. I was a rap artist and producer, and I realized that I could launder drug proceeds or marijuana proceeds. Drug sounds bad. Marijuana's legal now, but I could launder it through music, because what you could do is you could put out professional quality CDs, put them in the record stores, and then go buy all your own CDs.
Oh, you were doing it through the record store?
Yeah.
Shit.
Back then there was
no trunk? You ain't popped the trunk one time?
No, I popped the trunk, but there was CD baby. The thing is, you're talking about tax returns like being legitimate with
You're Jewish, man. You're Jewish as
yeah,
shit.
it was in, no one taught me that, you know. I just
It's just in your blood.
It kind of just came together like that. So, but it made sense. It was justification to purchase expensive studio equipment. It was justification to network, and
That's genius.
I made connections with people that actually sold millions of albums. I was learning substantially at a young age, and I was in position to really take off doing it. And I did that for a good couple of years after college.
Whoa. Damn. I didn't even know you did that. That's cool as hell. So, what the hell? That's cool, man. Like,
Thank you.
so you just went to a record store and you were like, "Yo, I got CDs." How do you just go from making music to convincing a nigga to put your shit in their store?
It's easy. So you this is the brilliance of it. You put an album out professionally, cellophane wrapped, and
It just needs the rap.
I had professional artists that I work with, so like, you know, and professional graphic design, stuff like that. I think I've shown you my first album.
Yeah, I got three.
But back then it was, back then, you know, all you had to do was put it in a consignment store, and guess what? If they all sell, then they're gonna want more. You get it? And so, and then the more you sell, and the more, you know, like, regardless of how it looks, and random people you don't even know start buying your product, you know, on top of it.
Especially if you do a good cover, yeah.
Okay, you're selling CDs, I'm hearing, I'm seeing, you know, I'm online, I have a presence, people know me over here, I'm connected to this person over there, I'm connected to this artist over here. Next thing you know, I'm doing shows. So it all kind of comes together, and it looks legit, even though it's not technically legit, you know.
Damn, fake it till you make it.
But at some point, it, you know, hypothetically, if I got popular enough or big enough, it would have washed itself. You know, I don't want to throw other artists under the bus, but it gets to the point where you actually are making a legitimate income off of being a producer or a rap artist, and that's the trajectory that I was headed to. And meanwhile, I was having, you know, the time of my life doing it, you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, how did I don't know if this is a far leap, but I was gonna say, how did like the legalization of marijuana intrude on what you were doing?
I mean, it didn't. I got arrested before.
Nice. Okay, cool.
That happened.
Okay, cool. So you're doing music. So how did you go from golf, college, weed, rap? Like, where did I can see the rap from the weed, but I can't see the rap from the golf and college. So how do you what happens in Eugene that kind of changes you? Who did you meet that was like, oh shit?
Well, since early age, I was always into rap music. Huge fan. You know, my parents were super cool, and they would let me like cuss at home, listen to rap music. My dad would buy, you know, my first rap tapes that I got, my dad bought for me. I was too young to be able to buy them myself. You know, they had the explicit lyrics thing and stuff. But my first tapes that I still remember to this day in the 80s, I had Easy Does It, Easy Too Short, Life Is Too Short. My dad used to not like Too Short, but he said he couldn't rap. But he liked Ice-T, so I had Ice-T's first albums. And he tried to get me on like Beastie Boys and LL Cool J and stuff, and all that was cool, but I was always super into, like, basically, you know, when you're 3rd, 4th grade, when your friend comes up and puts the Walkman on your ears and you're hearing an Easy verse or a Too Short cuss words verse.
That shit hit different.
About fellatio or whatever. It's almost like your first drug, because it's like, you know, you're not supposed to be hearing stuff like that. And it's almost like just... There's something exhilarating about it. It's a rush, you know. So it struck me early on, and it stuck with me the entire time. And you know, like, as I got older, my dad would take me to golf practice, and we would listen to Spice One in the car. My dad liked Spice One back then, and then you know, so I've always been a huge fan of rap music. I always just gravitated towards it, and even to today, like, you come hear me DJ, the majority of music I'm playing is R&B and rap music, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And so inevitably, when I found out that I could rap myself and produce, and then I was connected to rap artists that I looked up to, it just kind of took me being a fan to it, from it actually like becoming part of my genetics and like my identity at that for that period of time.
But something in college was like, I'm gonna start doing this shit. I'm gonna actually apply it and put it to use. I feel like you got the most out of college. Like, most motherfuckers go to college and they just kind of get lazy, or they just get caught up in whatever. You were thinking business the whole time, whether it was selling weed, whether it was selling albums, whether it was you were always thinking who instilled that in you? Out of your parents, which parent would you have to just pick that really was like, this is the way you should be thinking and structuring your brain?
Well, like my dad is actually brilliant. He had one of the top SAT scores in Detroit when he grew up, and so I have to take credit for his intelligence as being part of my intelligence to be able to kind of visualize and manifest things. But my mother was always kind of the wild card, the risk taker. So I kind of get the combination of both of that, and that's exactly what you're looking at. So I started off as a business major, dropped that, went to a business minor, but then I started my own business, and then I thought outside the box incredibly, and I was trying to work square jobs, telemarketing and other things at the time, and then got to the point where I was making more money in one transaction than I would make in a week of telemarketing. And
that's the benefit of a square job, though.
Yeah.
Like, the benefit of a square job is just to hate your life enough to motivate you to do some shit for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's fucking cool, man. I think it's so interesting your trajectories as you're progressing. So you graduate from college, you're starting to build this buzz, at least through the consignment store, of like legitimizing your money with your other adventures. You go back to Portland, you're still going back to Eugene. Are your friend groups changing since now that you're operating in these different spaces that are like alternative?
Yeah, well, I elevated and I got connected to some serious people, and in the music industry and in the drug business, and so at that point you kind of, it's you are at a different altitude at that point, so it's like a lot of people can't get to that level or understand that level. So I'm, like I said, I'm going to California and I'm staying at houses of rap artists that have sold millions of albums, and we're actually friends. It's not just business, and I'm seeing the inner workings of everything, and then I'm seeing the inner workings of multi-million-dollar drug business as well. So when you see, if you can see it, you can believe it, you can achieve it. So like, because if you're in the dark about things, how could you possibly start putting things together? But now I'm like a stone's throw away from being there myself on both levels, I thought at the time. And so yeah, just at some point you do it so long that you kind of metamorphosize into it. It becomes you, because you're chasing it, and then one day you kind of look in the mirror, you're like, I have a bunch of money and I've been doing this for so many years, and every day I'm taking these penitentiary chances and it seems to be going well, but at any time the carpet could get pulled out from underneath me.
Yeah. I mean, you briefly mentioned incarceration. Was that your first moment of the carpet being pulled from underneath you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How did you feel that first day you got on that bus to go to? Well, I mean, did you go to jail first or then prison, or did you just go straight to prison?
So what happened is I got arrested making my rounds in Eugene.
You got arrested multiple times. Nice.
Yeah. It's a crazy story.
Nice.
Yeah, it's layers of stuff. But
good.
I was down in Eugene. What they don't tell you is, when you get when you're selling anything, illegal at the time, it was marijuana.
The boys.
When you have a situation where you have you can get as much as you want forever, kind of an infinite plug, then your job kind of it turns from drug dealer to debt collector. Because at that point, my job was just to try to flip as much as I could and get as many people to swallow it and regurgitate cash as quickly as possible.
So you'd give without like before they paid you for it, you would give it to them like, hey, just bring me back.
Yeah. I started.
That would be my only rule in drug dealing.
That's where things started to change. But the problem with that is, the people that you're giving it, helping out,
untrustworthy.
Well, they might get robbed, they might get arrested,
snitch,
they might get, they might break up with their girlfriend and get mad at you, or who knows. And inevitably, you're on a crash course to get ratted on, and that's what happened with me.
You got ratted on?
Yeah. First
time you went to jail, you got ratted on?
Well, what happened is I got pulled over in Eugene, and I just finished up making a lot of deliveries and stuff before I was about to go back to Portland, and I only had like a half pound on me left. It was just to go back home to with, and I got pulled over for no reason, and they said that a vehicle matching my description shot an old lady in the face with a pellet gun. So, but it never happened.
Yeah.
They gave them justification to search my vehicle, and then
looking for the pellet gun.
But and honestly, I only had a half pound of weed. It wasn't even like that bad, but it was enough to, back in 2003, 3 when that happened. It was nothing. I was out of business right then because they were expecting a lot more. So, and what happened is because of that, they let me go. So they wrote. Well, I mean, I was arrested. I got charged technically, but they dropped a secret indictment, so I didn't get charged. I didn't see court. They were just watching me, and they were watching what I was doing, and who I was. So I had to like stop everything. I got a lawyer. I started working at Pizza Hut. I got a square job.
You start flipping.
I started delivering pizza. Yeah, I started delivering weed. I was delivering pizza. And one day when I was delivering pizzas out, I was working at 82nd and Gleason, the Pizza Hut there. I delivered the pizza to the hotel up the street, and I got pulled over, and they dropped a secret indictment. They got tired of watching me and not getting anything out of it, so they finally arrested me, took me to jail. And it was months and months after I actually got arrested.
That's crazy.
And so that was my first time ever in jail.
How'd you know you were on a secret indictment? Is that something you just found out later?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they pulled me over, and I'm like,
the fuck
I
is this?
I had the Pizza Hut topper. Like, I had a pizza in my car. Like, there's no drugs in here. Like, what's going on? They're like, yeah, no, they dropped a secret indictment, and you're getting arrested right now, you know?
Oh, shit.
So basically what
How old
happens
were you
is,
at this time?
I was 23, 24. 24.
How did your parents feel when you got arrested? This is their son who played golf and was a good old boy who went to college, graduated. Now this nigga's getting arrested.
Yeah, I had. I mean, it was tough. I had. I was lying to them the entire time.
Yeah, what was their first conversation with you when you got arrested? Because I remember the first time I got arrested, and my dad and my mom and how they felt towards me. How was it for you?
It was rough, man. I had to talk to my dad, and like basically, I had built this whole like pyramid of lies. Like I told my dad I was doing yard work in Eugene because I was like
technically yard
I was paying
work.
my sister's rent and stuff, and like I had all this money.
That is yard work.
Like, yeah, that's why it was creative. Yeah, exactly. And but we sat down and talked, and it got very emotional, and I felt horrible. But like, what could I have done? I can't. Call my dad and ask, "Oh, Dad, I just got robbed for this, or this happened. Can you give me advice?" Like I couldn't tell him what was going on. It puts you in that position where I know what they're gonna say. Oh, son, don't do that. So I couldn't do that. And then by the time that now I'm in trouble, finally, I have to come clean. And so I felt horrible about it, but in some ways there was some catharsis to it. Just finally, because you hold that all inside. There's these holidays and these dinners, and all this crazy stuff is actually happening in my life, and I can't discuss it with them. The craziest thing ever might have just happened to me, and I have to pretend on Thanksgiving everything's cool.
Did you grow up poor?
No.
So why get into this world when you didn't need to?
Well, originally when I was born, we were very poor. Actually, I lived on a farm in Hood River. Moved to Portland when I was 3 years old, and slowly moved up a little house and then a bigger house in the cul-de-sac. My dad actually got a job and ended up blowing up, becoming president and CEO. And so, but it wasn't like we had, I was getting all this crazy money and I could do all,
I'm trying to think. Maybe you didn't want to ask your parents for money. Maybe you wanted to feel independence. Like
I said earlier about when I was in college, like I was there and I'm around all these rich kids, but my dad has a wonderful job, but they're not giving me money, and I'm not on like some kind of allowance. I'm not getting some kind of trust fund thing, so like in part of me almost
their allowance was college.
I'm very fortunate. I was lucky. I was lucky enough that they were paying for my college. Absolutely.
No,
so
I feel that.
So I didn't want to ask them for money. I
Right.
didn't want, Dad, I want 20 sacks to smoke some weed this weekend. I want to get Dunkin' Donuts. Because it came with like the dorm I was staying in. They had a free food pass, so I didn't really necessarily need anything.
Right.
But what I needed, was just to
was the shit
be
that you
cool.
can't
I needed
ask
to
for,
be cool. I wanted to smoke weed and hang out with people and like people to like me and stuff, because I had to start all fresh down there because I didn't know anyone.
Right. Oh, I see.
I needed like fresh clothes. I needed like I wanted the new CD that came out. Like I wanted the stuff, and I couldn't ask my parents for the money because they were like doing so much for me. So.
No, I feel that. I was literally same exact position. I was in a decent household. Parents were doing great. I didn't need to get into fuck shit, but I wanted to be a part of the fuck shit because I didn't want to ask them for money. Like,
exactly.
I'm like, nah, I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm like, well, wait a minute. If I can put this and this together, maybe this will work out. And
then it just hit.
Kind of,
it
and
just
then
took
it
the
starts
fuck off.
growing, and then I'm like, oh wow, like now, like at first I'm just trying to sell weed so I can smoke weed for free. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh man, money's coming in.
Damn.
Next thing you know, I'm like growing weed, and next thing like it's just going, it's compounding exponentially, and next thing you know, it's like a frog,
I see it.
like a frog in a boiling water. You don't throw a frog in a pot of boiling water, it'll jump out, but you slowly turn the temperature up. Inevitably it'll be so hot it'll cook to death, and so inevitably the temperature got so ridiculous. After it took years and years.
Yeah,
but my life was. It was definitely nuts.
No, it's very similar. like that, because I went to the military at 18. I didn't go to college, so when I went to military, all my friends we were smoking weed and doing fuck shit together. Yep. They went on the same trajectory. They started selling weed to smoke weed, yep. And then they started making their own money. Then they fucking bought a pit house, and then I'm like, I would come back from the military like, yo, you niggas, this is all of yours. Yeah. This is our crib. This is crazy. Yeah. Just from weed, and it's
possible.
And so I see how quickly things can progress, and we were all good kids. Sure, some of us maybe not most privileged, but we were good enough kids. We didn't have to do none of that bullshit. So I can see how that gets there. So you get arrested. How much time did you do any time, or was it kind of like a probation type shit?
So it's funny. I got arrested. I've never been to jail before. I got arrested when I was a kid, but I never was in the juvenile hall or anything. I just got court dates and community service and stuff.
Same.
But now I'm actually in jail, and I had to self-bail out because I had a big important Pizza Hut meeting the next day. And I just got arrested at work, so I didn't know if I had a job. I just got employee of the month before that.
Shit.
So I was like, I don't know what's going on. I've never been here, and I'm already because I was working a job, and I put myself into rehab. I had a lawyer in Eugene, was a horrible lawyer, but I didn't know any better, because I'd never been through this before, and so. I'm like, man, I can't miss this Pizza Hut meeting. Yeah. I self-bail, I go there, and I'm able to kind of manipulate my manager at Pizza Hut saying, oh, this is normal, oh, this is just something that happened a while ago, I'm just getting it cleared up, so, it won't happen again,
Smart.
But the whole time I'm preparing, I'm trying to mitigate the amount of time I have to do in prison, because I'm looking at 3 to 4 years.
For weed?
Over a half pound of weed.
Damn.
Yeah. Because, they had intel that I was doing much more, which I was, at the time, but they couldn't.
Intent to distribute.
I had cut off immediately. I just severed everything immediately and got the square job, checked myself into rehab for weed, so I could say that, I have a drug problem to limit my sentencing. I played it all correctly. And, but I actually got in trouble in rehab because I was taking Xanax and Valium, and they drug tested me, and they're I came up positive for benzodiazepines. I'm like, I'm paying you guys, just test me for weed. What do you mean?
Yeah, what's all this extra
I'm paying
shit?
you want me to stop paying you? I'll just stop coming. What? I got failed drug tests.
Do you get in trouble if you're paying for rehab and you fail drug tests, or what do they do?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you guys stay longer. Yeah, of course you do.
What the fuck?
If you're in you can't graduate the program if you just got a dirty UA a week before. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. So I quit. And it was a combination of that, and my counselor at the time he went out the reservations, went to the coast, and did a bunch of acid and quit. So I was like, man, here was this guy that I was talking to for months about, drugs are bad, and he was an old hippie guy. Mm-hmm. He just went completely off the rails, and I'm like, what am I even doing here? And so, and then when the secret indictment hit, I was just I was completely over it. And but after that, I was basically out on bail, awaiting trial for drug trafficking, essentially marijuana. And so, as I'm out on bail awaiting drug trafficking, I get arrested for murder, And so,
I'm surprised you said that in the mic.
Yeah, well, no, it's known fact. And,
yeah.
But so it becomes this whole crazy mess.
Do you care to go into detail, or do you?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Totally whatever you want to know.
What? I did a little bit of research, but what was the night? How did the night go? How did you get there? It was someone that was close to you. I was learned. So how do you progress to? How do things escalate to a point of no return?
Well, and I would say this to the kids watching today. Basically, when I was involved in the drug gang, I needed someone in my corner, that could help out with if I got robbed or if I needed to collect a debt. And
the muscle.
Basically, there was a bunch of people I knew my whole life, but then when I went to this place, I couldn't count on them to come to this place with me. So if I get robbed, they're not going to come do anything. They'll say, oh yeah, fuck that guy, or But what if someone comes to that place with you and actually has your back during that time and is there for you, you know? You build a bond that's deeper all of a sudden than people you've known your whole life. And so over time I became very close with someone who essentially was a monster, you know. But then this was a situation like, what do you do when that monster turns on you, you know? So in a nutshell, that's essentially what occurred.
Damn.
In that situation, you know.
I mean,
just a real quick summary of things.
Yeah. I mean, you that happens, that occurs. Did you call the cops? Did you report on yourself? Was
No.
it like okay? So they found you, take you in.
No, so what happened is, I could talk for about 15 minutes on this, but in a nutshell, there was a situation that happened where I reacted in self-defense.
Yeah.
And then I could have went two ways. I could have went back to my car, or I could have went this way to where my other friend was at, where I thought the police were at. And I went this way to where the police were at, so I could, you know, basically just say this is what happened, you know.
Yes.
I knew it was self-defense at the time. And so that was kind of, in a nutshell, you know, when you look at all the parameters of my case, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that probably helped you the most.
Well,
is making that left instead of that right.
It was all just, well, I mean, you know, like I was transparent the entire time, you know, so that at first it hurt me, and then over time they see, you know, because they look for inconsistencies in your story, they look for things that
they ask you the same questions.
They don't believe you, you know, their job is to not believe you and trust you at all, which I get. But the entire time I was completely forthcoming. I wasn't trying to run or hide from anything, and then in the end,
we're legal carrier, which helped even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single thing that I said happened, you know. And when you extrapolate the facts, they just thought, here's this rich white kid that graduated from college and now he's charged with murder. We'll lean on him, and he's going to take a plea, and we don't even have to work. You know? And it didn't work out that way for them, unfortunately. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, you still
very easily could have, though, because I could have. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, keep going.
Well, anyone in my position would have taken the plea offers they were offering. You know, manslaughter, 7 years. I was even told maybe I could do military camp. You know, that type of, you know, like in the woods, and knock off even more time, which I was totally down with. And but I just tell myself that I don't think I could sleep at night wondering every night, what if I would have just fought it, you know? And so, you know.
How much time were you facing?
Life.
Shit.
25 to life.
25 of them. So you ended up doing two. You ended up doing two in the middle.
I did three years.
Three.
Yeah, I was in multiple counties, because I was fighting in Eugene, Lake County, and in Portland. So I was in Justice Center in Inverness. So I was just bouncing around everywhere for about 100 days. Okay. And I was granted bail, and I was granted release, and I was in house arrest for the rest of the time until trial, which it turned out to be about 3 years total.
Nice. So going in and spending, you know, an extended amount of time there, what experiences do you remember? Do you have any bad experiences? Like, did you have to pick a side? Like, what was your experience like behind the walls?
It was actually great. You know, and I think the reason, you know, people think I'm crazy for saying this, but you know, I was just happy to be alive. You know, I didn't feel like this was the end for me. Everyone was saying, "Oh man, Oregon's not a self-defense state. Like you're just washed." You know, like, and I just didn't. It didn't feel like that way to me, because I knew what would happen, and I thought that anyone reasonable that looked into my story, you know, and looked at the facts and ballistics and all these things would see that everything I'm saying is true. And even if it was going to be that I had to be in prison the rest of my life, I could still watch TV, I could still hang out, gamble, talk to people, laugh, you know, wiggle my toes in my cell, and sleep in, you know, stuff like that. So to me, it wasn't the end of the, you know, ironically, I felt, even though I was 24 at the time, I felt like I lived a full life, you know. It's funny to think about now. Like, back then I was like, yeah, you know, I did it, you know, like I'm satisfied with what I've created. Because I knew a lot of people before me that had passed away, you know, like early, young ages, a lot of friends and stuff, even at that age. So I was like, I'm not even mad at this. I'm still alive. That's the important thing, and I can still. At some age, I'll get out. Or maybe they'll change the law, or So I was like, I'm gonna stay the course. They did everything in their power to try to get me to take a deal and do this, and I didn't. I didn't feel. I just didn't feel like I'd done anything wrong, and inevitably,
I didn't. Felt the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you still get flashbacks of those days, of that night?
No, what's funny is people, and I'll get asked that sometimes, like if I have nightmares, or I do have PTSD.
Yeah,
I suffer from PTSD on a regular basis, and I'm sure that's part of it. But I think honestly, just my entire lifestyle for years prior to that is part of it. I mean, the things that I've seen, and every day, I've taken multiple penitentiary. I went to prison for a long time every single day.
Yeah.
When you compound that for years, the toll that it takes on you, people don't talk about that. It's not healthy, and I didn't even know what anxiety was until like when trial started. I started actually feeling anxiety for the first time, and my mother suffers from anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that, and I had known other people that had suffered, and I always thought they were just crazy. There was a disconnect because I never experienced it. And of course, I did experience it because if right now I was going to another state with a bunch of drugs and money and guns and meeting with criminals and doing all this high stakes stuff, like I would probably have a panic attack just getting out of the driveway.
So yeah, it's interesting. So your parents were with you on this first arrest, and now this is a real arrest.
Yeah.
So like, what are your parents saying to you now? What's the conversations like between them now? Like, I can imagine this is now these conversations are nowhere near what they used to be.
Yeah, I was afraid that my family was gonna be scared of me, and I think I still to this day kind of think they were a little bit. But the first person I called was my dad, and I think he thought I was joking. I think he thought that I got a DUI or something and violated because I was out on bail at the time for my drug thing, and so I told him like, no, like
this is real.
I'm gonna need a real lawyer. My lawyer Eugene. This is going to be able to handle this. And,
holy shit.
Yeah, and just the gravity of it. I think from what I was told is that, when they talked to a lawyer and they looked into it, that they were like, if he's just gone crazy or whatever, we're not going to be able to support this, which I totally get, But luckily, I hadn't. And luckily, my attorneys were like, no, this is the best case of self-defense we've ever seen. And,
oh shit!
Yeah, and it was, and I beat the case, and I set precedents for the state of Oregon. And after I beat my case, it was the first time in almost 100 years in Oregon that occurred where murder charges were overturned for self-defense.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask it right now.
I didn't know. Can we do music for?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Absolutely. You're good. You're good. Thank you.
But so. And what were we talking about?
You were saying that it was a set of precedents for the state of Oregon for self-defense.
And then afterwards, multiple people beat murder on self-defense because of my case law.
So you were like a pioneer.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, because that's what everyone told me when I was in there. Oregon's not a self-defense state.
Damn.
And it wasn't. It had kind of convoluted self-defense laws, but my case kind of set precedents on what constitutes self-defense, and justification. And
your dad was like, fuck it, I'm going to Mexico. I'm tired of this nigga. He's giving me too many headaches, bro. I'm out of here.
A lot. And the thing is, ironically, I turned out great. I wasn't a psychopath and lying about things. And now, I've gotten in trouble at all. And so I don't do anything illegal at all.
That's good shit, man. Now you do legal strip club aficionado,
Absolutely.
man. So when was the first time you went to the strip club? You remember the first strip club you ever went to? First time I remember. I'll knock mine out real quick. I was 18. I was driving up I-95 on the East Coast, and there was this shithole strip club on the side of the road, no street lights, nothing. It was just a trucker strip club. Walking there, 18, shaking, scared. Every girl in there was on meth. I picked the least meth addicted stripper and got a private dance from her. And I just ran out of there after.
Yeah.
So yeah, what about you?
I feel like my first strip club ever I went to was Jiggles when I was over 18. I don't remember it, but the first strip club experience I remember was Silver Dollar Club in Eugene. And I was sitting there and at the stage, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just remember vividly, like, man, like, you know, like I've never seen this before outside of like a bedroom, or, you know, like.
Yeah. How did you go from your first time to, like, when did your brain spark to, I could work in this industry, I could, when was your first job in the industry of adult entertainment?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, my first job was selling weed and driving.
But I mean, like, in
employees.
like
when I started
club,
Dickhennessy stuff, so I beat my case in 2007 February. 2007 November, I was offered a job here by Juan, who was the most legendary strip club DJ of all time, and I got to cover his Sunday shifts. And I took it and ran with it. And I remember I met with him. He lived right up the street. And before my shift, we smoked weed. And he was like, "Man, you nervous at all?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm not nervous. I'm DJ Dickhennessy." And I took it and just ran with it, like full-fledged from that moment on. And I haven't looked back. So
from being a DJ to creating events that people have been going to for over a decade now, how did you even get the brains to create it and start it?
I mean, I just so I had the name. So I started off, I'm gonna be the big, so Portland's the strip club capital of the United States, right? And so I'm gonna be the biggest strip club DJ in the biggest strip club market in America, which makes me the biggest strip club DJ in the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can attain this. I have a good knowledge of music. I have a mic presence. I'm comfortable on the mic. I'm comfortable with, like, I know what people like. You know, I know how to market. You know, all the skills I learned from doing rap music and production, I just took and repackaged and repurposed into strip club DJing. And I realized relatively soon that it's a shallow market in Portland. Like, even though there is more clubs than per capita, it's not like a major market like Miami, Atlanta, Houston. Strip club DJs here aren't going to make $100,000 a year.
Right.
You know, no matter where they work. You know, there's exceptions, of course, but I realized it's a very shallow ceiling in Portland. So the next move would be event promotions, because event promotions are as big as you want to make it, as far as you want to take it. There's no ceiling on that. Anything, So it's, you know, like when I started with the Vagina Pageant, I was like, man, my goal was to do it worldwide. And what if that was to occur, you know, Vagina Pageant Japan, or, you know, this is where my mind was at the time. So I started very, very humble beginnings right here, very modest accommodations at the Boom Boom Room. I wasn't even I got permission to do it, and then they said I couldn't do it, and I did it anyways and risked my whole livelihood and career doing it.
Sometimes you gotta just break it. You just gotta break the mold. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Take the consequences.
Yeah, and the rest is history. Now we have 15th annual coming up.
Goddamn right.
And ironically, back here, it's opening night. So the first time ever since the first time, it's going to be in the same building.
Hell yeah. Where's the Vagina Pageant finals? Like the finals?
Las Gatas.
Las Gatas.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's going to be a monster.
Venue.
Yeah.
Dude, this shit's been crazy, bro. I mean,
it's been a run.
You've seen countless people. You got into the film industry with this shit. You created short films and shit. I saw that. That was pretty interesting. What's some memorable moments for you that over the years that really just like you can't, you know, that are just a part of that bank of like, wow, I can't believe that fucking happened. I mean, you met Paul Mooney, you got Paul Mooney, Slink Johnson.
I was just thinking, you know, like every once in a while I'll be on Instagram and I'll see someone talking about Paul Mooney, a comedian, another legendary comedian talking about Paul Mooney. And I'm like, man, like it's surreal to me, because. And just being involved, you know, like being friends with Slink Johnson, just being involved with artists and people, and they respect me because of what I've built and what I've created, because it's interesting, you know, it's entertaining, it's fun, you know, it's something, you know, and I would implore everyone to chase something that you can put your individual effort in to become, you know, make a mark just in this world before you leave. And I feel like I'm very fortunate to have done that, and there's so many. I mean, I could talk to you for hours and hours about, you know, just the Paul Mooney story itself is like hour and a half conversation, you know. But I look back on that like, man, like, because it almost didn't happen, and it happened because of my tenacity and just for my love of the craft, my love of stand-up comedy, and you know, just as much as I've loved rap music my entire life. I love video games my entire life and sports. I love stand-up comedy and movies, and I've just always been anything that's entertaining and like anyone that's brilliant in whatever space they're in. I've gravitated towards that, as you should.
I wish Portland incorporated like their art, like their music scene, their comedy scene, like all their scenes with the strip club scene, because everyone across America, I mean, Portland is pretty much a staple on either being weird as fuck, liberal as fuck, and then strip clubs. And so if you can mix these worlds together, I think it'll just propel the scene together.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that you're so dedicated to the Portland strip club scene the way you are. Like, I mean, your car is completely dedicated to your events. You have arguably the most famous car in Portland. Period.
Second I came out with the car, they knew I wasn't fucking around.
Yeah,
I'm not playing.
That car separates you. I don't know any other car that's that famous in Oregon.
No. The car is actually like almost more of a celebrity than I am.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. I feel like people know the car more than they know you.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing your car before I ever knew who the person driving was.
Yeah, you had heard about it.
Yeah.
But that was the whole point, Like, I think I might have told you about the whole premise of the car was, like I came
He
up with
has a car. He has a completely pink car. It's a box Chevy.
Yeah, we can throw a picture up in.
Yeah. It's a box Chevy, and it has a vagina pageant on it. And he always drives really slow through Portland, and he parks it in places where everyone's walking. So you have to see it. And before I even met this nigga, I already took like 3 pictures in front of it. So like that's just how the universe works, And I rode with him in it to here today. So that's the universe,
It is.
So. Yeah, that's a move, man. That's like marketing genius. Like you pretty much, and it changed colors. It was like black in the beginning, and then you went to pink because I'm assuming pussy or pink, and you're like, this makes more sense.
Yeah, and then it went sparkly pink.
Oh shit! Then that's like pretty pussy. And then, do you remember the first person to win the vagina pageant?
Yeah, of course, Roxy.
Is she still alive? She's
Nah,
still kicking?
She won right here though. She won on that stage right there. She won.
Where she's somewhere with that pussy. All right.
And back then we had it was a dollar store light up display, and we had found a potato chip that looked like a vagina, so I super glued it into the display, and that was the trophy.
Whoa!
Like, it came a long way from the beginning.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, but just but to reiterate, like how I came up with the Vagina Mobile, the concept was that I have a theory that human beings are like highly advanced nanotechnology and like robots to some extent. If you look at our immune system.
I mean, robots are mimicking us.
Yeah. So hypothetically, if that's the case, then you should be able to kind of create a computer virus in human beings. And so the Vagina Mobile was initially intended to be a computer virus to the point of where no matter how you feel about it, you're subconsciously forced to look at it, think about it, take a picture, and send it, post it to social media, like a computer virus is, right?
Yeah.
So that was my idea for the Vagina Mobile at first, which is still to this day.
Still does it.
And the more flamboyant, the more professional it is. It's got professional graphics on it. It just, I feel like it almost agitates people because they know this isn't like a joke. This is like a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's a professional business. So it just is even more effective in that regard.
Yeah, no, I was watching a video today of people. There was someone recording from inside your car of people's reactions of them looking at, and that was hilarious.
The original,
that shit was funny.
Found the original video. That was back when it was blue.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, it just had in the window. Yeah, it was just in the window.
I'll talk about that. I took a risk. That was when I kind of crossed the threshold because I'm like. I had a friend that did like stickers and stuff, and decals on cars, and so I was like, let me just get one that says second annual vagina pageant at Rouge on the back window, and I'm like, this is gonna be cool. And then the next day I woke up like, oh shit, what did I do? Like someone's gonna throw a brick through my fucking window. And then it became this huge thing just off the sticker. So if the little sticker on the back is that big of a thing,
I'm gonna make the whole car pussy.
Yeah, then it became a huge race car like NASCAR with sponsor logos, and when it gets to that point, like you can't not notice it. You can't not, you're powerless.
It's aggressive as fuck.
You have to discuss it.
Yeah.
You have to think about it. You have to take a picture of it. You have to send it up, and because that was my thought process. Every day is trying to be cool on social media and get likes. So you're always looking for something cool to take a picture of. So let me provide that to you on a silver platter.
Right.
And then while I'm doing that, it helps me out the entire time.
Has your car ever been vandalized because of hate?
Yeah. Oh man.
Window smashed out.
Yeah.
Car keys scratched from some Karen with keys.
Lit on fire. Multiple
shit!
windows.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like blown up or
No. Someone hit it with a torch.
What the hell?
And there's been so much vandalism to it. I mean, I know what I'm getting into, and I've replaced so many windows. But mostly it's not been, I don't think because of the car, I think it's been theft from drug addicts and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Trying to look for something inside. But I have the tinted windows, so when they break the windows, they don't go out, and no one's going to reach their hands in the glass on the
and
dome.
cut themselves, yeah.
So but I still have to replace the window. But
damn.
Yeah, I still to this day talk about the funniest thing that happened. One day someone put like some industrial grade like pepper spray under my door handle, which was super creative. Never seen it before. So I was out working downtown promoting, and I got done, and I was driving home, and like I just scratched my nose or something like that. All of a sudden my nose started like blowing up. I'm like, what the hell? I thought you ever hear stories about when people like get dosed with acid on accident?
Yeah. LSD.
Can you imagine like if you don't know, you've never taken acid before, and like you eat something or drink something and now you're tripping on acid. That's kind of, I was like, what is going on with my nose? I had no idea. Like, I was like, what? I'm driving and my nose is like blowing up and like I'm just crying and stuff.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, there's no way. And I looked when I got out, and sure enough, it was just a whole slathering of pepper spray, like bear mace underneath my door handle.
That was some white woman for
actually
sure.
Brilliant. It was actually brilliant.
Yeah, because you got that car, you got this pussy mobile in the land of the feminists, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're.
Yeah,
it's like the
last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the
here.
exact contradiction to what this city pretends it is. You know?
The thing is, though, and I've said this before.
That's what makes it so funny.
I've said it before publicly. Like, I consider myself to be a feminist, because I don't see feminists out here with a vagina car. They man, I'm not.
Feminists are out buying fake dicks.
I'm not talking negatively about vaginas. I'm promoting vaginas. I'm promoting women. I want to let people know that I feel with all my heart and soul that vaginas are the most important thing in the entire universe. If not the most beautiful thing, the most important thing. And I'm willing to scream it from the mountaintops. Like, it's just what it is. Like,
yeah, I mean, we wouldn't.
So if you have a problem with that, yeah, exactly. It's a porthole. It's a stargate to another dimension. It's the most important thing on Earth. Period.
Cheers.
And if you have a problem with that, I don't know.
Cheers to pussy.
Yeah, I'll drink to that all day, man. So, I get it, if I was a woman driving it, it'd be less backlash, and I'm receptive to that, but at least someone's driving it,
yeah.
At least someone's promoting it, at least someone's doing something to celebrate everything.
I don't know too many people with that car. I've never seen a car in that vicinity. Have people sent you cars kind of like that?
Yeah,
have you gotten any imposters?
No, I did. No, I got there was, I dropped Sling Johnson off the airport after the Garrett Booty Finals last year, and I went to Famous Dave's Barbecue. I love their barbecue, and some lady left me. I still have it somewhere in my house, but she had. No, I'm not joking. It was like a Caprice, like the exact same car as mine, and it said it was like the pussy car or whatever, but it was out of Arizona, and it was like an art installation thing, and she had like a promotional video on YouTube. I'll have to look into it again, but I watched the whole thing. I actually got in contact with her and tried to get her to judge the vagina patching. I'm like, man, what are the odds of that? But that was way before I'd done mine.
Damn.
And it was way different. It was more of like an artistic type thing. Mine's more functional, promotional thing. But I'm like, man, like what are the odds that we both have very similar car and we do the kind of the same thing to shake things up and get people's attention,
Well, I mean, pussy's powerful, man. I mean, there's not enough people. As much as people say they're feminists, they're not really out here pushing that flag like that, bro.
Yeah,
they just want to fuck. They just want to fuck a they them and call it a day. They don't really want to.
No, I mean, any day I'm out here, man. Like any day I could get road raged. I could get, my car could get keyed. Like I'm literally vulnerable out here. The only thing that keeps me kind of safe is just I'd say 90% of the people that see it love it, and it brightens their day and they enjoy it. It's a very small minority of people that hate on it and have an issue with it. So I think the universe kind of protects me in that way.
Do you care about like perception? Like, do you care about how like people perceive you? I feel like there's people around who don't necessarily know you, who have like a perception about you that's not. I mean, at least from my perspective, that's not accurate.
Yep.
Like, do you hear about the way people feel about you? Are you affected by it? Like, what do you feel when you come across shit like that?
Well, it's been my entire career. I would say there's so many people that hate on me, and they've never talked to me. I would say if you have some kind of issue with me, and you hate what I do or you hate what I represent, or you think I'm a douchebag, I understand because of the marketing. I can see how it can make you feel that way, or I understand this. But if you come to my events, if you come see me DJ, if you talk to me personally, I'm the most humble guy in the world. I'll make time for anyone. I will talk to anyone.
To a detriment a little bit.
Oh, I feel like
you bring people in your circle, and then they may not be representative positively on your brand.
No, it can't be.
How do you deal with people who, because dealing in this nightlife, a lot of weirdos are in this circle too. You come across a fuck ton of weirdos.
One thing you'll find about weirdos, not to interrupt you, but
no fucking interrupt.
The thing you find about weirdos is they're really good at pretending like they're not weirdos. Weirdos spend their entire existence
disguise,
figuring it out to hide the fact that they're something's wrong with them, and so it's inevitably what's in the dark is going to come to light. Inevitably, if someone's not solid, you're going to see signs of it. If someone's doing something underhanded, there's going to be hopefully you figure it out. And sometimes maybe you won't, but you can't. If you live life paranoid like that, and you just shut out to everyone, then what benefit is that? There's a give and take to everything. So.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have a strong circle of community, like friends, like people you actually can call your friends, or do you what do you feel like?
Yeah, I do. I consider you my friend. I'm very fortunate to have very solid people in my life, but it gets to the point where people, if they're really my friends, I consider them family. And unfortunately, I'd like to have way more people in my family, but it's it's tough.
Just like
man.
golf, bro. You're in that field alone, dog.
It's tough, man. You never know. And like I've had, I started off when I first started doing events. I had the whole huge circle of people all over Portland that supported me, and over the years, you have to reinvent and rebuild that circle over and over again. So it's consistently evolving. People's lives change. They might not want to go to strip clubs again, or they might want, they might look at things differently, or this or that. And unfortunately, it's just it's life. I think it's not just me. It's not just because I do strip club events or whatever. It's just as you get older, things change, people change, perceptions change, and you have to be prepared for that and not take it personally. So I try. If I have people that we kind of drift apart over time, it's just what it is. It's no hard feelings. I appreciate the good times that we had together, and I look forward to meeting new people and having good times with them.
Okay, so being that you work in this industry, you're around a lot of beautiful women. How is dating? How's dating been throughout this period?
I mean, I purposely made it a point to not just be off the rails and date all sorts of women and just go crazy like a kid in the candy store. I've been very calculated, and I think that's been very beneficial to me. Luckily, right now I'm in a wonderful relationship with a woman I love with all my heart, and that's really all I need. I don't need fulfillment with being with a bunch of women and being this player and this kind of cartoon character that people think I am. I like very much stability and predictability, and just being with someone that you can trust with your life and that's going to be there with you every day through this and that, and to have your back. That to me is more important than anything else in the world.
Yeah, you're very you have an interesting relationship with trust that not a lot of men have. Like like your partner, she works in the industry. But you were able to be comfortable in that situation. How do you because so many guys aren't like that. How are you able to have a woman who works in the industry without these underlying feelings of jealousy and envy? And
I think, the more you're involved in the industry and the more you understand, if you're not comfortable with it, if you are insecure because of it, it's going to haunt you. It's going to destroy your relationship, and there's nothing beneficial into feeling that way. If you're insecure, inevitably it's going to show.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with, like for me, I would be hypocritical to be upset with my girlfriend.
Men are hypocritical.
Oh, of course. They want their cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
of course.
I can fuck 10 women and you can't.
Yeah. No, I totally get it, and I understand where they're coming from. For me personally, because I'm no spring chicken anymore. My advice to guys would be the key to being with a woman and being in a solid relationship is just be completely honest with them. If you have an issue with this or that, don't pretend like it doesn't bother you and let it boil up and then explode. And this is how dysfunctional relationships gain their ground. And for me, I don't feel that, because if, let's say hypothetically, my girlfriend doesn't want to be with me tomorrow, that's what it is. I'm not going to force her. I'm not going to fight for that. Like if someone wants to be with you and they love you, they're going to be with you, thick or thin, regardless. And if you feel that, then there's nothing to be insecure about. There's nothing to be jealous about. It's just you have a pure, solid connection. And I think that's the main issue, is these people that, are jealous of their girlfriend dancing. It's just, if that's the case, you're already on the wrong foot.
Have you ever had a jealous boyfriend come to one of your events on behalf of their competing partner?
I just had a dancer yesterday that had to cancel because of her boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah. It's part of the business.
Damn, her boyfriend made her cancel.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been from the beginning of time. A little Midnight Moose. Any words for us? Yeah.
Let them know something, bruh. Moose officials in the building.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's real, man.
It's just, that's one of the many things, man. Me doing the events, me having the career that I've had, man, you think that it's not a billion hurdles. There's a reason why I have longevity, and I try to inspire people to do it, but longevity is the thing. anyone could pick up and do strip club events tomorrow, or just events in general.
Right.
But who can make it 5 years? Who can make it 10 years?
15.
Who can make it 15? That is the real differentiator, and the people that can are the ones that can adapt and just not take things personally. If a dancer says, "Oh, my boyfriend doesn't want me to do the event," I can't be like, "Oh, fuck him," he's a hater. I get it. Maybe if I was in his shoes, I want, maybe there's a reason he doesn't want her to go out and have fun and win an award and win a bunch of money and have all this attention. The insecurity. I understand. And it's a very human attribute to be insecure, and to be not wanting your girl.
Do you get jealous?
No, not at all.
Not even a little bit?
No, it's something in me that's just I don't know if it's just over time, like sandstone just wore away, or if it's
so
just...
you were jealous at younger years.
Oh, for sure, man.
Okay.
Like I was saying, in 6th grade, my girlfriend in 6th grade. And she started dating my friend after that, and I think I was jealous. If I remember correctly, that shit fucked me up a little bit, but I didn't know what I was feeling. But
girls love dating your friends.
Yes, but no one, no one. If you are insecure, if you have these, it's just gonna come out. You can't hide it. It's just what it is.
Let's ask a fun question. What kept you from pimping? You were so close. Your women are handing.
I'm glad that I did.
Women are handing you money.
No, I'm glad that I didn't. Because honestly, pimps have gotten canceled a long time ago. It was a cool thing when I grew up. Oh man, the 70s.
I thought you were talking about Too Short,
80s,
Easy.
90s. Yeah, but Easy and Too Short. I don't think I think you could see interviews with Too Short where he talks about he never pimped and stuff, and now what a headache it is. Yeah, no.
I mean, his rap is pimp.
Yeah. You're right. That's correct. But if you listen to the real guy, he says he never did that, which I believe, because he's got a huge rap career. Why does he need to do that shit? But I knew that. Again, man, I've grown up and respected women my entire life. It's never anything I could ever do is pimp women or be on that kind of time. And now it's a horrific look. Back in the 90s, maybe you'd be respected.
A little cool, but
yeah, now you're not going to get a lot of the props for that. Then when they turned pimping and pandering charges to human trafficking, that was kind of the end of the game at that point. So I just, again,
you chose the right side of history.
Yeah, I don't sell weed anymore. I don't do anything illegal. And anything, I'm trying to be as legal as humanly possible for the rest of the time. I don't have to worry about this knock at the door if it's the police or
you're like, hey, this woman wants to compete in my competition. She's willingly giving me money.
Yeah, well, I mean, but she's she willingly could make a ton of money, in my competition as well.
Exactly.
So it's not, it's just, I don't. It's to me just, especially even not in this day and age, even in the '70s, I feel like pimping would be the wildest headache of all time.
Oh man. Yeah.
I don't think I'm built for it, personally.
Yeah, it seems like too much. It seems like too much to handle.
Yeah.
Everybody's when they all sync up and then you got to deal with that part of it. You really gotta be a psychologist and a sociologist for sure.
It sounds exhausting. Just watch Hustle and Flow and you can see the more recent. That's almost like a realistic depiction. It's just like, oh man, it's just headache after headache. And just on top of that, I would honestly never do anything in terms of exploiting women. And that's just how I feel, man. I love my mother, I love my sister, I love my nieces, I love my girlfriend. I just love women in general, and the last thing I would ever do is do anything to harm them. So that's how I
view
it.
Man, that was we talked for a minute, man. That's my dog, Dickhennessy, man. Fuck with him, bro.
My dog, Juan Denmark.